need like an intro video to play while I make sure that the stream goes live. There it is. Okay. Good evening, and welcome to, I think, our 5th streamed session, but more than that overall, of Blades in the Dark Rare Imports. And tonight we have Dredge, Ogre, and Suri. Dredge the Whisper, Ogre the Cutter, and Suri the Slide, as they try to make their way in the criminal-ridden city of Duskvol. So, as we get going into this, Matt, Dredge, have you any idea what happened last session?
Nope, not at all.
Cool.
Oh, I thought for sure Max would have told you.
I've had a very busy week myself, so even if he had, I may not remember.
I think it would be fun if we role-played you guys bringing Dredge up to speed. We'll say Dredge... we'll give Dredge some downtime actions. And we'll say while Dredge got involved in something away from the lair. Perhaps at a university. I'll let you make it up. But he got involved in something away from the lair, and I don't mind giving you some benefit from that.
Dredge came out of the last score very, very stressed.
Right.
And so may have effectively disappeared for some time, dealing with the ramifications and implications of the last score he was a part of.
That's a great idea. Why don't we give you a free stress roll?
Okay.
And we'll give you a free stress roll for that. And then as Dredge returns to the dripping, flooded lair up in the rafters, where you guys have laid out boards in a strange patchwork area of making your own rooms out of the abandoned warehouse. Why don't we role play out Ogre and Suri explaining to Dredge what has occurred? Because Dredge, what's your vice again?
The tattoos of glyphs.
Right on. So you return from like a day's, like, multi-day tattoo process. Well, you can maybe you got like an entire arm or something done to kind of deal with that was the stress that had built up from the cult
Dredge
story.
Repeatedly accidentally read what is it, the Song of Cecilia or something?
Song of the Yellow Sign.
Cassilda's
song.
He repeatedly accidentally read this maddening text, and so maybe he's got like a whole bunch of imagery conjured up by it that is now tattooed on his.
Oh, nice. Maybe even some of the words are now tattooed on Dredge's body.
The words wouldn't be in a recognizable language, but they might be the words translated into some other.
Perhaps the Eldritch script that he has, if you check the handouts, the copied Eldritch runes. Interesting. Okay, cool. Okay, so Dredge, when you return, your tattoo's still bleeding a little, still scabbing a bit from this days-long stress-relieving ordeal. You find all of the weird artifacts in the lair flashing with color and weird light that doesn't seem to illuminate, but only catches your eye. And where once rested the demon tusks etched with strange runes, now there is some kind of jade urn or bowl under its black cloth, the orb of fate, its rune shines through, creating a chilling feeling of ominous doom in the air. The occult books that you have kept from the run-in with the Cult of the Burned King are fluttering in an unfelt breeze indoors. Everything's kind of going slightly haywire. And Ogre and
This all sounds
Suri...
great to Dredge. This is just how he would have left it.
Yeah, but it's definitely different. And Ogre and Suri are there, having... how did we end last score? Did we do downtime actions?
We did.
Having just returned out themselves, and they too are being buffeted by these thrumming waves of magic emanating from all of the artifacts you've picked up.
Yeah. When you walk in, Ogre is going to see you, and he's going to be visibly pissed off. And he's just going to say, "Oh, look, the resident expert on the supernatural has finally deigned to make an appearance."
Dredge will be happy to be recognized as such, and not at all understand the insult. Oh, do you have something for me?
Do I have something for you? Have you noticed anything a little bit different around here?
Oh, actually, we have less things for you, so less stress.
Are there like curtains I was supposed to notice? I'm sorry.
Maybe it's
Did
the
you decorate?
fire that's surrounding everything even remotely weird in this place, which is basically everything.
Right, so maybe we should start at the beginning. The good news is we have gotten rid of the curse of the demon teeth. The bad news is that they're gone now, and the curse was active for a little while, and also we are being pursued by a demon and maybe the spirit wardens, and Niel won't speak to us anymore.
So you can understand why we might have liked to have some help.
So
We did
Dredge will
okay.
have he will have pulled out a notepad and had started to write something, and then noticeably pause as you list what those actually are. And he looks at his piece of paper. He looks up. He looks down. Did you get the demon's name?
I wasn't really paying all that much attention, because when he left us with all of this wonderful blue fire that's not actually burning or lighting anything, and we started to have bones growing out of everywhere. Like I had teeth growing out of my arms for a little while. So, it was great.
Did you save any of them?
No, we couldn't, unfortunately. We did make friends with another demon. I don't know any of their names, but the bad one promised that he was coming back soon.
I see.
I can tell you.
Well, what would you like me to do?
Well, maybe if you could find out what this weird blue fire is, I think it's a sign that these things are getting ready to activate soon, which means we're probably going to be cursed a lot. And I would like to be able to not be here when that happens.
One curse in my lifetime was more than enough.
Okay, so Dredge will kind of brusquely nod and go over to his corner and get his mask, and I guess he'll make an attune roll and try to figure out what's going on in the lair.
Okay. So as you reach out with your mind into the spirit realm, you sense the field coating everything. How's my, well, it just turned off, but my computer fan been?
Haven't heard it
I'm
at all.
aware of it.
Cool. I've been fiddling with the gain on the microphone to try and make it so that you can still hear me when I turn to the side, but it doesn't pick up too much computer fan noise.
Yeah, the sound's been really good.
Good. Okay. So you open your mind to the ghost field. Now, we're in free play right now. Is the phase of game that we're in. This is going to be an action roll. And Dredge, you probably weren't ready for this.
No, he's not really that concerned. So.
Okay. So this is going to be risky. And the effect will be standard.
He's not sure what to make of this crazy story he's been told, so he's not going to push himself on this one. I'm getting the sense that neither one of you particularly want to assist him either.
Nope, Ogre's gonna be storming off to go take out his rage somewhere else.
I can assist. Well, let me check. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, check your stress too.
Did we roll another entanglement after at the end of last session?
Was it Spirit Wardens? Or Trick?
No, that was the score.
Yes, we did. It was a 3 or a 4. That was Niel leaving.
Gotcha. Yes. Thank you. I don't know if you missed that, Dredge, but Niel, just as a quick refresher, is the spirit trafficker who was a special friend of the crew.
Yeah, she's. My notes say she's the one I ate butterflies with.
Yes. So the two of them, that might get through to Dredge because the two of them pissed her off, and now she's gone to work for the Dimmer sisters.
Oh well. What Dredge was told was that Niall won't work with us anymore, which he's just like, well, with the two of you, obviously.
Right.
Like, he came back, people started yelling at him. I'm picturing he's over there with, like a protractor or something, like, trying to measure the fire.
Absolutely. Okay, so, let's do this roll. So it's risky standard.
Suri, did you want to assist him, or...
Yes, I can assist.
You good? Ugh. For 4 dice, that's not great. It's a critical 4.
You reach out into the quiet of the ghost field, seeking, searching for understanding. I forgot to offer you a devil's bargain, but...
Oh well.
And the ghost field is on fire. This burning, consuming, crimson and blue and purple fires rushing toward you. They are both burning you and burning your surroundings. It's as if every artifact in this room, everything that was active on a spiritual plane. It has been, it's as if all of those things were torches, and someone threw sparks. And they are burning and burning and burning. And although it didn't appear they were being consumed on the material plane, in the ghost field, they very much are. They're like bundles of dry sticks just going up in fire. And it's painful to look at. As I mentioned, it's burning you.
It's painful to look at in the sense that these like valuable artifacts are being destroyed, or it's painful to look at as in it's like brighter than the sun.
As in it's burning like the equivalent of the sun, staring into the sun with your third eye.
Yeah, so we're gonna shut that down pretty quick. Yeah, but I guess
so you have like after images, and like when you stare at a bright light and then close your eyes. What are those called?
I'm not actually sure.
Okay, we're gonna call this level 2 harm. Third eye burn.
I mean, it's obviously third eye blind, right?
Third eye blind.
Okay. Well, I would like to resist that.
Okay. So go. It will automatically work.
Oh, and we should have dropped one die because of his torn psyche that I forgot about.
Well, we'll say that was the Devil's Bargain die. We need to come up with a way of reminding ourselves about the lower, about the -1 die for wounds.
I got a 6 on the resist roll. So,
wow.
Yeah.
So you actually going to clear one stress?
No, that's if you get a critical.
Oh yeah, right. Okay, so you get a 6, so you take no stress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the level 1 version of that?
This is going to be reduced to level 1. The level 1, I think the level 1 image of that will, instead of third eye blind, third eye dazzled.
Okay.
Okay, so Dredge has taken some harm from this, and
so the color
however,
sort of... Oh, go ahead.
However, you still succeed.
Oh, sure.
So you know that it's burning on in the spirit field. This tells you certain key facts.
Hooray.
Some of them obvious, some of them less so. 1. This was obviously a fire-based demon that did this. 2. It will take a while for these things to actually burn away their connection to the spirit field. The more powerful they are, essentially the higher tier, the longer it will take. Kind of like burning souls in Dark Souls.
Or like candles in real life.
Or like candles in real life, if you prefer. Certainly the Orb of Fate had the biggest and brightest fire.
Right.
Number 3, while this was definitely not a friendly act, this until these things have actually burned away their spiritual connection, They are at high risk of activating is the main effect. So it almost seems more like something an entity would do in order to apply pressure rather than as an attack. Does that make sense?
Like as in like coercion or like
Yes. Like to try and make you guys do something.
whether or not we know what it is.
Well, it sounded like these two talked to it, so...
Okay, yeah. So Dredge has no idea what it is, but he has this suspicion that this was like when someone tosses up your store to get you to pay protection money or something.
Exactly. That's what it feels like. You
Yep.
you hit the nail on the head. So Fire Demon burning away the spiritual connection and seems like they tossed the place rather than an attack.
Do I have any sense of if there's anything that can be done about this, or is this just like it's demon magic? Can't fix that.
Of course stuff can be done. But whatever demon did this was definitely very powerful. And this is nasty. But stuff absolutely can be done. And probably should if you don't want these things to just flicker out.
Right. Well, that's as the player, I'm like thinking of various funny ways that Dredge could attempt to deal with this. But like, what is the does he have a sense of what the actual fix is, or is it just we'll just roleplay our way through this one?
It would probably require some research.
Okay.
But it absolutely can be done.
There's part of me that wants to just go. Let's just move these things out of the fire and see what happens.
So you've shut off your attunement. And
yeah, shut that shit down.
And it stressed you out because that was something that affected even Dredge.
Yeah. So he'll like. I like to think that his mask like flips up like a welding mask does. And so he'll like flip it up but still have it on. Did the demon want something from you?
Yes, it did. It wanted Casilda's song. We refused to give it to him, and even offered.
You mean he wants the book?
Yes.
Or he just wants? Okay.
He wants the book, and we offered him some other minor texts in order to get him to go away, and he did this in response.
Yeah. He could have done worse. It's like he just wanted to kind of pee in your cereal, so to speak. Can we make him a copy?
We thought probably not, but you would be the one who would know that.
I thought he didn't your ancestor write it?
Yes, which is why I wanted to keep it. But I don't know the first thing about these kinds of things, other than that it's dangerous. The demon wasn't just asking for the book. He was offering a trade, and it was a pretty significant trade.
Like
he
what?
was offering the scent of life. Basically, a perfume kind of thing that could cure wounds.
Okay, so we probably wouldn't take a copy then.
Probably not.
Well, we probably shouldn't stand near these things right now.
Yes, we did figure that part out. Because of the whole thing where he got teeth in his arm.
Right. which is the other thing that we need to talk about, because in order to get rid of that particular curse, we had to go and see another demon. And so, as a result of that, now both there's a spirit warden who knows who I am, and there's a demon that has one of the teeth that was growing out of my arm.
Did you get that demon's name?
No, but we know who its medium is.
Well, I'll be at the library.
Oh, they're letting you back in?
Oh, right.
I'll tell you something
I mean,
else.
yes.
Dredge, you do know someone who could tell you.
Tell me how to fix this?
Yes.
I mean, yeah, that's why I keep asking them if they knew who they had talked to, so to speak.
I can tell you some facts about both of them.
I meant a very
you meant a
polite,
person.
a very polite fellow with no face.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so can you describe, Suri, what you were gonna say?
Well, so the one that we made an enemy of, he turns into an owl who sits outside of our window and watches us.
Okay.
He has a very, very deep voice, and he wears a black suit.
Did he have a
The
face?
other one, he has a face, just a sort of blandly handsome gentleman.
Okay, I don't know him then.
Okay. Good. I didn't think.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Nope.
Do you know enough demons that you might recognize one just by sight?
Well, I know two. Just,
Well, that's not
describe the
that
other one.
many. So the other one is sort of a black shadow with a pointy head, and it doesn't talk. It only talks through its medium, whose name is Trick. And it has one of Ogre's teeth, which I think is probably going to cause problems for him later. Not one of his arm teeth.
One of the teeth that grew out of his arm unexpectedly.
Yes.
It wanted payment.
And what happened to the rest of the arm teeth?
They fell out.
And who has them?
Go ask Blend. He was helping.
I know. I didn't realize Blend had been here last week. That explains
He
a lot.
was not. He was not. We just assumed that he was helping with healing.
Ah.
Did you ask me a question?
No, I'm just trying to decide what would be actual next steps here.
Yeah, sure. Dredge is probably
Like-
taking that time to think too.
Yeah, he's like, he could go to the library, he could go talk to a demon, he could go try to talk to the other demon, he could specifically go talk to one of these other ones that they ran into. I don't know. I am open to some creative brainstorming, because as the player, I don't really have a good plan here either.
Well, we do actually know and are on fairly good terms with the medium for the demon who helped us. And they might be able to give more information. I was able to attune with it a little bit, but my attunement is definitely not as sophisticated as yours. So you might be able to talk to him and get a little more information. I was just able to attune with him directly, rather than going through the medium, whose name is Trick, and that is pretty much the best possible description of her character.
How did we get on good terms with them? If you...
She
something-
is a member of my religion,
Okay.
so I was introduced to her by basically our high priest, And he said she had a demon familiar who might be able to help us get rid of the curse, which he did.
And then, how did the Spirit Warden get involved?
That was the payment. Well, part of the payment.
Yes. So when you went to her house, she said that she would take trade, and we could do a number of different things. But Ogre felt that he probably wanted to play to his strengths and punch a spirit warden.
I was feeling a particular need to punch things.
It was a pretty normal day. So we she said that a spirit warden had been bothering her because of some bodies that she didn't ask a lot of questions about that were buried underneath her floor, and being used as fertilizer. So we got the spirit warden to come by, beat him up, and unfortunately he saw Ogre's face and got his name, I believe. And so we have reason to believe that a spirit warden knows exactly who Ogre is. His real name, I should mention, not his nickname, and is going to be attempting to track him down. Possibly exacerbated by the fact that we did get him sort of possessed by a demon when we were down there with the cult.
Yes, yes.
But you're already aware of that.
It's been a great couple of weeks.
It's been exciting.
Okay, well, I'm gonna need to go buy a tongue.
Of course you are.
I'll be back. So yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna do the ritual thing and try to talk to
Yeah.
my good, polite friend.
Now,
Not so
unless
much
you, you're Mr.
That guy I know how to call, basically.
Mr. Amon.
My phone a friend.
Indeed.
The Ghostbusters?
Oh my god. Now, are you planning on getting some really, really crazy tongue, like it would be its own thing, or can we skip to Dredge summons a demon to ask about another
I was
demon?
picturing taking it kind of easy here because Dredge is kind of all beat up in the spiritual sense, like
Yeah.
he's got a bunch of harms.
Mhm.
So I don't want to try anything particularly difficult. We could also bring in my actual contact for the first time. I don't know how you want that to work. If that's still a ritual or that's something else.
Yes.
Like she's never come up in
you...
game, so.
Well, you certainly could.
Yeah,
You're talking about contacting Sitara.
Yeah.
Whom you would probably meet by wandering along the water, hoping that she would find you.
Right. So that's my options are go to try to do some research at the library. You explicitly use a ritual to talk to one demon, or go try to talk to the other demon, who's nominally on friendly terms with me for some reason.
Indeed. You have a couple of options.
So I think in Dredge's current state, Sitara is probably the best course of action in that she's nominally friendly.
Right, but she is under no obligation to answer your questions.
Sure.
All right.
Maybe Dredge goes out planning to buy like a cow tongue or whatever would be the equivalent.
All right, this
and
text
instead,
thing is not going to work.
Instead, he ends up sort of getting himself lost, and maybe she finds him
feel like it would definitely be a goat tongue.
Yeah, it seems appropriate because they're big goats. Yeah.
I was trying to do something fancy. It's not going to work. Okay. All right. So Dredge wanders on down by the docks and gets lost as he's carrying this tongue.
Yeah, he's still got like some of the after effects of both of these harms to deal with, so he's probably pretty distracted.
He's pretty distracted. That's not necessarily the state one wants to be in.
Sure.
When a voice comes out of the eternal night in the city of Duskfall. Trying to find something here. Stand by.
Please pick a voice I can understand.
I'll see what I can do. Here it is. That's not quite what I'm going for either. Okay. I just wanted to see if I had some a cool docks scene that I wanted to use. But it's not really coming to me at the moment. That's all right. We don't need a visual. There's a mist coming up out of the ink water of the void sea. The hair rises along Dredge's arm as he's walking home carrying the goat tongue he purchased. And that's the main hint Dredge gets before the voice comes out of the dark. Dredge. Professor. Professor Claremont. Can you hear me? Testing.
I can.
Yep.
I wonder if Matt's having a problem.
Of course, Matt would cut out right then.
Can you hear me?
I hear you now.
Okay, stupid physical switch was stepped on by cats.
Appropriate.
Yeah, so I had answered you, but whatever. So, what would you think that what would be the appropriate appellation for her? Is it Madam? Is it Miss? Is it Mistress?
That's a really good question.
Yeah, like I'm not sure quite what their relation. Like she addressed him kind of semi-formally, so I think he would respond in kind.
Indeed. Satara would probably consider herself nobility, a queen, royalty. So, your eminence.
Your ladyship or something. I don't know if she actually considers herself female or what. It's a demon, so.
Yeah. It's a bit weird.
How about your radiance?
She is a water demon. She seems to be speaking from the ocean.
Your wetness just doesn't really
Your dampness also not great. Luminance?
You could call her Satara, I suppose, but I see
Yeah,
why
I
you're
wasn't sure
searching
if
for a...
that's like a first name kind
Yeah.
of thing.
No, it's a really interesting and cool question that I hadn't even considered. Perhaps my Lady of Darkness.
Yeah. Or yeah, sure.
My Lady of the
My
Depths.
lady? Is that? Yeah. Okay. That's the long form, but I think my lady would be acceptable. So as soon as
Alright.
she addressed him, he would have replied, "My lady, is that you?"
I sensed you wished to speak. Oh, Professor, you interest
Yes,
me.
I have. My compatriots have encountered something beyond my means to deal with. I seek knowledge.
Mortals are always out of their depth, it seems.
I truly am. The there are fires in my sanctum.
Fire.
I seek to put them out, to extinguish the flame, perhaps with your deep powers. I don't know. I assume the fire and water demons don't get along.
Extinguish the flame. If only it were that easy. Professor Claremont. The fires. I can tell you who set those flames. But if you were asking for more direct action, Professor, I would require some direct action in return. And I'm not sure you would be ready for it.
I just need. I need a clue, a path.
Very well, Professor. Because you interest me, I will whisper to you
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Now I must see to my Lord Skurlock. I bid you a good evening, Professor Claremont.
Good evening, my lady.
And like that,
Just like that.
just like that, the strange chill, the sense of being underwater, the creepy feeling recedes as if the tide had shifted and were pulling something back out to sea. And we jump to Dredge returning to the lair, a little unsteady, as if he'd gone through something.
I like to also think he's like ridiculously like damp for some reason.
Exactly.
Like the mist had like clung to his coat and his hair, and he looks noticeably like he fell in the water at some point.
Yes, that is precisely what happens. Perfect.
You know, drowned rat kind of appearance.
Yeah, it's like he walked through the pouring rain, but for once it's not raining in Duskfall.
Well, I've learned its name.
That's a good start.
He's carrying the tongue in a kind of a wrapped butcher's paper package.
Which he just like sets that on the table and doesn't really say anything else about it. Now, Max, where did we land on like demon name significance in this setting? Because I know that we had talked about it at some point.
There is the demon's name and there is the demon's true name.
Right. So I presumably only have its name.
Exactly. Sataro probably would not have given up such a valuable thing as
Right.
a demon's true name, especially a powerful demon's true name, in a casual conversation.
The name doesn't give direct control, but we may be able to learn something of it. Or I could even summon it, perhaps.
Well, he's going to come back on his own whether you summon him or not.
True.
So do you guys want to like wait for Karakon to return, or go about your business otherwise, or do you want to take some other kind of action?
I mean, isn't our lair still like covered in freaky ass shit right
It
now?
is. It is.
Like, Dredge is perfectly comfortable with that, but I got the sense earlier in the session that Ogre and Suri were not.
Ogre and Suri, or Ogre at least, was more just annoyed that you weren't there to help deal with it as it was happening.
Because I was so effective after the fact.
That's not what matters.
I basically just burned.
Not
I basically
Ogre.
just stared at the sun.
I mean, sure, if you want to summon it, or if you can do research onto it now that you know the name that it calls.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's up to you, man. If you wanna pursue this more closely, or if you want to just
Well, I'm just
We'll
you
deal
know,
with
as
it when it comes
as the
back up.
player, I'm kind of out of clever ideas at the moment, and so
Okay. Well, then let's do something else for right now, and maybe other opportunities will reveal themselves.
yeah.
Okay.
So
So does
Ogre will just say, well, one thing that does occur to me that might be a useful thing for us to have is, well, rather than us just sort of hoarding all of these crazy arcane items and waiting for them to explode on us, maybe we should try to find a more dedicated fence that would be willing to take some of these items off of our hands.
I have a few thoughts about that. It occurs to me that for some time we have been taking advantage of the goodwill of my friend Basil, who, as you know, leads the lab. I wonder if perhaps it is time for us to try to do him a favor by maybe perhaps giving him one of these artifacts for himself or enabling him to be our fence to somebody, if that's the sort of thing he's interested in. Regardless, I would like to offer him the opportunity to be cut in on this first, because I do not wish to lose my access to unlimited books.
I'm sure we don't either.
I'm not opposed to expanding our business relationship with him.
He's always done well by me in the past, and considering the number of enemies we've been making in recent weeks, I think it would be wise to make a powerful friend. I tried to do that at the party, but I don't think that was going to work out.
And we never actually did the job for the Unseen either, right? Like we talked about, there was something the Unseen wanted.
Yeah,
the
we
Death
talked
Wolf.
about it, but we didn't actually do it.
Right. So yeah, I think doing something that is for one of our contacts would be a good idea at this point, because yeah, everybody hates us.
I mean, when it was just little gangs, it was one thing, but now that it's the spirit wardens, it's getting pretty bad.
There was also some kind of deity.
Oh yeah, that.
Yeah. Yeah, so essentially what Ogre is proposing is that we try to seek a loyal fence, which is one of our territory things for our lair.
Yeah.
Which that would give us +2 coins for every burglary or robbery job that we do.
Yeah, and narratively give us a way to unload some of this sketchier crap.
Exactly.
Oh, what's the urn? You said there was an urn?
Yes, it's this right here. And that is how we managed to get rid of the Curse of Bones. The teeth growing out of our everywheres. That was what was given to us, and it basically broke the curse.
Mm-hmm. Does it have any value at this point?
Not that I know of.
Mhm.
But I'm sure Dredge will want to take a look at it.
Well, yeah. Once things stop being so crazy, perhaps.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, Suri, if you want to lead the way with talking with this Bazo guy.
Sure thing. You both want to come along, or just one of you?
Yeah, we can.
Sure. Actually,
Oh, it's
before
up to
we
you.
go, one other thing that we do need to figure out is our crew. We did level up.
Ah, yes.
So before we get into an actual job, is there any, or does anybody have any particular ideas on what we should get? Some of the top ones that come to my mind are Ghost Echoes, like I said in the chat, just because we've had a lot of spiritual stuff happening, so it wouldn't be too weird for us to suddenly develop new powers in that regard. The other ones that come to mind are getting upgrades for making our lair more secure. The second box of secure specifically secures us against arcane intrusion and like ghosts and demons and stuff.
Hmm. So that would be more thematically appropriate after we finish dealing with the current thing.
Yeah,
Right?
potentially. And there are some other things that we can do with that as well, like getting the option to get some more advanced training in something other than prowess, or making our vault a little bigger so we can hold more coin.
And to get a new contact, we have to actually go out and do a score, right? That's not a thing you can just upgrade into.
Correct.
Generally
I think
speaking.
generally.
The other useful one that we might, or the other useful ability we might want is Everyone Steals. Each PC may add
Mhm.
+1 action rating to Prowl, Finesse, or Tinker, up to a maximum of 3.
Yeah, I also kind of like Slippery, and Patron
Okay.
would be really thematically interesting as well.
Mm-hmm.
I personally don't know what we would actually do with Ghost Echoes, but it certainly would things make more crazy and weird.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the thing for me, is that it gives us opportunities to do things like, we come in through a second story on a building that doesn't have any entrances on the second story, because there used to be one. Or, creating, or it just gives us a lot more options in terms of entry points for scores and exit
Yeah,
strategies.
I'm curious, Max, how you'd want to actually adjudicate on that if we're just constantly saying there's a ghost door.
It would probably be an action roll. To find it. Are you familiar with the video game Soul Suspect?
No, you mentioned it before, but I'm not.
Well,
I am familiar
basically,
with the video game Soul Reaver.
okay. Well, basically, for those of you who may have heard of it, yeah, it's just like this ability described in the Blades in the Dark rulebook. Because it takes place in Salem, where there was a big fire once, and a lot of buildings have burned down. And the character can interact with ghostly things. There are literally like the ghosts of walls or buildings, or doors can be interacted with.
Yeah, here's the kind of flavor text and more descriptive of what it says for Ghost Echoes. You might explore the echo of an ancient building, crumbled to dust in the real world, but still present in the ghost field, or discern the electroplasmic glow of treasures lost to the depths of the canals, or use a sorcerous ghost door from the pre-cataclysm to infiltrate an otherwise secure location, etc. The GM will tell you what echoes persist nearby when you gather information about them. You might also undertake investigations to discover particular echoes that you hope to find.
So I would probably make it an attune roll to find what you're looking for, and it would be adjusted like any other action roll.
Yeah, theoretically, you could also be like studying, records of the city to find out oh, there used to be a building here.
That would definitely like point you in a direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We can do that. We can do any of the other ones. I don't know. I don't feel super strongly about it.
Okay.
The
Um,
spiritual
I
realm
think
has
that
been
one's cool.
beating us up.
I mean, I think the spirit world one is cool, and I think that it is thematic with the, it's crazy and weird. Like, it's thematic with the direction we've been taking.
All right.
The Grimslag in the Twitch chat points out, Patron is always a good one, but it depends on how you get access to that person or their resources.
Good to know.
Yeah, I feel like Patron will be really thematic, like once we fully get up to like the maximum alliance rating with the Unseen, it would make a lot of sense for them to be our patrons. Or, you know, a prominent member of them. Like that,
Well,
or
it's
like the guy that
also-
we did that first job for.
Like, mechanically, it's the kind of thing that is good early on, because it
Yeah.
makes it easier to advance.
Yeah, we're still a little bit of ways away from the next time we need to spend coin on advancing.
Okay.
We're still 3 rep away from just getting a stronghold, and then we'll need another 11 rep after that
Oh, sure.
before we're actually spending coin on it. So we've got some time in that regard.
So, you guys have chosen Ghost Echoes.
I think we have.
After your weird experiences and the obsession that won't quite leave your mind, with the throne, Suri, under the city, in the sewer, and the strange sights you all saw when your minds were damaged by the godling, the burned king, preserved in its tank, sleeping or dead, and worshipped. You have begun to see things occasionally out of the corner of your eye, and you have gained the ability to see and interact with ghostly structures, streets, and objects within the echo of Duskville that exists in the ghost field. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. There's a lot of interesting ways that could come into play. Excellent. All right then. So you've leveled up your crew. Let's do some downtime actions. Now I think Ogre and Suri, you already did your downtime actions last session, correct?
Yeah, I think so.
Yep.
All right. So let's give Dredge a couple of downtime actions here.
So, is Blend qualified to help with a torn psyche or dazzled third eye?
Blend is gonna go to gonna go off and pursue some other projects and may rejoin the gang at some later date.
Okay, so we're down our physiker for now.
Yeah, you're gonna need to. There are other people you can talk to.
Yeah, because I would like to get these harms dealt with, and I would also like to, at long last, make progress on my long-term project. But now we've also got, like, maybe I should find out who what's-his-face is. Karakhan.
Yeah.
So many things.
Ogre has made an enemy of a physic. Sawtooth. Use him at your own risk.
Good to know. I need the different... And we lost our spiritual contact lady, so...
Yep.
Yeah.
Another thing.
Ogre might have broken a few things in her shop
Uh-huh.
in an attempt to
Did you
interrogate
not
her.
eat the butterflies when she offered them?
I may have tried to shatter an empty bottle, and she reformed the bottle before it hit the ground.
Neat.
Yeah,
I bet
And
she
then-
could have fixed
and
my
then
brain
she-
meats.
told me to get out.
Yeah, I would like to find somebody who can fix my shattered
Okay.
mind.
We'll say that we'll treat Blend as an NPC. Blend is off doing their own projects, but we'll stop and experiment on your brain for a while.
That's wonderful news.
So that's a tinker roll of 2 dice, which I'll
Should I
roll.
just roll it for him? Or...
I can roll it. Is it any more dice? I think it's just 2.
If because he has physiker,
Okay, so 3 dice. Blend pauses in their side project, developing vacuous lucidity. looks like a 5. So, can you describe how Dredge would ask Blend to tinker on his brain?
I'm thinking it's definitely involving some kind of hallucinogenic substance.
Nice. So you're force-fed a drug.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, maybe he didn't. I'm assuming he didn't ask for this. I think that just probably happened.
Right. Oh man, we're finally gonna get to use this. Amazing. Amazingness.
Which thing? The
This guy!
Wow.
Oh no, I lost the credit. If anyone finds the artist who created this wonderful piece, let me know.
Usually reverse image search. If you
Yes. I don't want to do that right now, though.
have. Sure.
Because we're just playing with just us. But, yes. The, you smoke something, that
Something
makes...
green.
And that makes skull shapes of smoke. And it makes your eyes glow. And it makes all of your tattoos tingle. And you start to watch them all crawl across your arm like insects. And this, however, changes the chemistry in your brain. And alters its spiritual connection. So that is
Yeah, I was
5
kind
for
of
healing.
picturing like a hallucinogenic drug trip where Dredge and multiple copies of himself discuss what has happened to his brain at length.
That's nice. So you start talking to your tattoos, and they talk
Sure.
back. And you discuss what has occurred. So I think that puts 2 tick marks on the heal clock for you.
Is that what the 5 gets me?
Think so. And if you fill the healing clock, then all of your harms are reduced.
Yeah. So that only gets me halfway, and if I take any more harm, it resets.
Right.
I think I will just let that go a second for another second downtime action.
Okay, I'll roll it again.
Oh yes.
Okay.
Wow. So that's 5
So-
ticks.
As sometimes happens with drugs, a certain amount of it needed to build up in your body before you got the full effect. And
Yeah, the
this
other 13 copies of myself have been working on it the whole time.
this next trip, it hits you, and you have to like concentrate on not dying because it is strong. So that's a
I'm
critical.
picturing like they visit his psyche, like him and a bunch of copies of himself visit his own mind and like stitch it back together in this hallucinogenic like
Stitch
drug
it
trip.
back together. Oh, that's great. Okay, so that gives you 3 ticks on the heal clock.
So that fills
no,
it, and I have
sorry.
1 left over.
So a 5 means that you get 2 ticks.
Mm-hmm.
A critical is 5 ticks.
Oh,
Ooh.
Yeah, it's 1, 2, 3, 5 for a 1 to 3, 4 to 5, 6 critical.
Okay, so then that fills the clock, and I have 3 left over. That's
yeah.
pretty great.
You almost filled the
Yeah.
clock again. So that's your 2 free downtime actions. Do you want to pay for any additional downtime actions?
I'm so close to full on the progress clock that I'm really tempted to do that again, but I don't have a ton of money to spend. I think I have 1 coin from last score. Yeah, this is going well. Just screw it. Like, I just need 1 more, so we'll spend the coin.
Nice. All right. And thank you, Karasthina, for really quickly reverse image searching That dude, anybody who wants to help me out with that as I'm streaming, please feel free. I will only be too eager to give credit where it is due. All right. Okay, so you're going to pay, and I'm going to roll again. So you're paying a coin from Dredge's personal
Yeah, he had one coin from
stack
somewhere.
of coins. All right, that's only going to be one tick.
That's all I need. Okay, I am patched up and ready to have my psyche torn anew.
All right. Very impressive. Is there anything that... do you have any harms left?
Not anymore.
Wow. Dredge is fit as a fiddle and ready for action. Okay, now Ogre and Suri, you have already done your free downtime actions.
Correct.
Do either of you want to pay for any additional downtime actions before you start your next score?
I don't think so.
Just because he is also one away from fully curing his torn psyche, Ogre will spend one of the crew's reputation in order to get one more healing action out of Blend.
Alrighty. Blend is probably adding little things to make you guys more like hulls as this is happening. Putting in little nuts and bolts embedded in your cranium.
It's not as bad as what Sawtooth did to me, and he's actually healing me, so...
Yep. So that's a 5. Nice.
Alright, so yeah, Ogre is fully healed.
Okay. So, how are you guys going to... you said you wanted to start your next score, or do you have more free play things you want to do?
I'm ready to do a score whenever.
Mm-hmm, me too.
Okay. How are you guys going to go about gathering information on this score?
Well, I think my first thing, because what we're trying to do is find a dedicated fence. So my first thing, my proposal is that we should go to my friend Bazo, and in order to kind of, he's got an ego, and so he likes to feel like he's, in charge. So what I'm thinking I'll do is butter him up by offering him a finder's fee to help set us up with a better fence. And I will offer him a finder's fee. How much coin do we have in our group stash? Or should I dip into 3 coins? Okay.
That's why I spent reputation. We don't have a whole lot of coin.
I have some coin in my stash that I could spend.
Keep in mind that it's 1 for 2. Every 2 stash that you take away is 1 coin.
Yeah, I know.
Suri, as Bajo's sometime friend, longtime acquaintance, you know that he is a whiskey connoisseur.
Oh, wonderful. Okay. In that case, I am going to go to the fanciest bar that I know and try to acquire their most expensive whiskey.
You also know that he is part of a secret society, some kind of cult.
Well, who isn't?
Indeed.
Ogre isn't.
Ogre is going to start his own cult.
So are you gonna get like the fanciest whiskey you can find at the store, or are you gonna try to get like like the Emperor's whiskey, like a century old aged?
I'm gonna try and get like a really, really, really nice whiskey.
Okay, so you can spend a coin on that, a bag of silver.
Yeah, I will do that.
All right.
I'm picturing like a B plot to this episode where Dredge and Blend are trying to make their own whiskey.
Blend is like, I healed you guys. I'm off on my own project.
I know,
but
but,
feel
like-
free.
I just picture them off in a corner of the workshop trying to build a still.
Grimslag points
How
out.
has that not already happened?
Good point. No, we
Wasn't-
don't. We brew something else. Apparently, we brew like some kind of weird coffee.
Not to be a total troll, but wasn't there a rumor about a still as a turf thing?
Oh, was there?
That, if I'm not mistaken,
Oh, the
that
next
was
door thing.
that was one of the or that was one of the things for the Forgotten Gotten. Or, yeah, there was a cult that we were talking about going and dealing with.
There was. Probably overly complicated for the moment. Oh yes, it was number 11. Rumor number 11.
Well, that can be our next one, but I strongly feel that we are not going to brew our own whiskey and wind up losing yet another friend.
It's better than whiskey. It's a new thing.
My point stands.
But yeah.
Whatever
yeah.
it is, Bazo doesn't want it. I already know.
But yeah,
Alright.
turf tip number 11 was about the Miter Distillery at the docks, so that could be a nice 2-for-1. Like, they might have bottles.
All right.
Or you can just buy it, whatever.
So, you spend a coin, you purchase some very expensive whiskey, and we are going to cut to Suri talking deep in the Lampblack's lair. The other two of you we can decide, you don't have to decide right now whether you're there or not. There's a smell of lamp oil and coal dust around. And you are in the heart of Crow's Foot, a hive of criminal activity, scum and villainy, in the midst of the eternally dark city of Duskville. Bajo Baz is seated at a kind of makeshift desk. It's made with like a series of planks, probably converted from a fancy door that's had like the edges like shaved off around it. There's a kind of a pile of various scattered items on the table. Papers, a ledger, and kind of a very noticeably this long metal pole with a kind of device at the top of it meant for lighting the lamps from not so long ago when the Lampblacks were actually the Lamplighter Guild before the whole city was converted to electric lights. Bajo is kind of leaning back in this like ripped up, like overstuffed, once fancy but no longer leather chair. And you are seated on a rather less luxurious chair, kind of brusquely wiped off by his man, Henner. who's kind of this beefy dude standing off to one side now, still holding the rag which he used to wipe off your chair. And Bajo is giving you his usual charming, open, ruthless grin. And Bajo is saying, so, you want me to give up some trade secrets in return for...
Something I think that you personally will find a great deal more valuable. And I produce the bottle of whiskey.
He reaches out. Is this meant as payment or as a gift?
It's definitely meant as a gift.
Oh, he reaches out and takes it. All right. His big paw grasps the bottle, and he kind of holds it up and swirls it around, gives it a nod. His man kind of goes off and brings back a couple of dirty glasses, and he lays them out on the desk and rips off the cork with the strength of his grip, and pours a couple tumblers of this whiskey, the smell of which immediately is filling the room. And he says, "Here's mud in your eye," and downs it. Ooh, that's the good stuff. So you've got me in a good mood.
Yes, well, I thought that I'd been imposing upon your goodwill enough lately, and I owed you a little something in return. I don't come only with this. I'm also coming with an opportunity for a finder's fee.
Meaning you pay me and I tell you where you can find somebody who won't ask where you got your goods.
We're finding ourselves with some things that are a little too high-end for the people we've normally worked with, which means that we are in need of somebody a little bit more high-end. And you are the first person I thought of who might have somebody in mind.
He kind of pauses and, as if listening, and you can hear like the sound of people in Crow's Foot all around, fighting, drinking, snoring. It's really quite noisy when you stop to listen to it. And he kind of has this. He's still grinning, and he says, So you thought of me as synonymous with high end. Well, I appreciate that.
I thought of you as synonymous with somebody who knows everybody.
Oh, well, old Bajo Baz knows a thing or two. That's certainly the case. I am looking up acquire asset. He says, well, you know what would be better than coin for a finder's fee.
Please illuminate me.
I need some stuff moved from one side of the city and into here. And it's some hot stuff, if you get me. And none of my guys can do it.
Why not, pray tell?
Well, I don't mind telling you there's a few little dangers involved. And if it were to be known that the Lampblacks were making trouble with other groups of folk that have banded together in these troubled times, then it might lead to some unpleasantness in the streets of Crow's Foot. He pours himself another tumbler of whiskey. And he kind of raises an eyebrow at you. Are you at
I
all
see.
interested?
What sort of thing are we talking about?
All right, so this is going to be a gather information.
All right.
I think you are using consort here because are you drinking the whiskey?
Oh, yeah.
And possibly your friends could help by also drinking not too much because it's a
You
gift.
remember the last time we had a meeting that involved drinking?
I
And
remember.
Dredge was there.
That was hilarious.
So you're a waiter now?
No, I meant the time he got drunk and Ogre had to carry him home.
Oh, that time. Right, yes.
But yeah, there was also the time he pretended to be your waiter.
I also, I should have mentioned this when we went into this conversation, but I did get a new special ability when we leveled up this last time, which is titled, like, looking into a mirror. You can always tell when people are lying to you. So, as
Oh,
you've
nice.
done this job, please let me know if he is lying to me.
He is not lying to you.
Excellent.
Bajo seems to have no desire to hide his reasoning. He the only thing he might do is not tell you every twist and turn. But he's definitely not deceiving you.
All right.
Someone in chat, Nacho Pants, has requested the demon voice finger snap from last session. So I'm just going to do that real quick. Actually, no, I'm going to save that for the dramatically appropriate moment when we meet Karakon again. All right. I want to save it, Nacho Pants. I want to save it for the right moment. Okay. Where was I? Bajo. So you're making a gather information roll. So this will be an action roll. There's nothing really dangerous going on here, and he's your friend, and you buttered him up. So this will be a controlled consort roll. The effect will be standard. Don't forget your bonus because you are intimately familiar with this guy.
Yes.
And your devil's bargain. Oh boy. Your devil's bargain.
Can you remind me what the effect was? I'm sorry, I missed it.
Standard. Well, that's the starting effect. You can affect that with... You can change it with abilities.
Yeah.
And... the devil's bargain. Oh my god. It's just too easy. The devil's bargain will be that some of the stuff you are going to be transporting mixed in will be occult in nature and not the stuff that Bajo wants.
Sweet.
I mean, that sounds like it can only be good for us in the long term.
All of our occult stuff is on fire. We need more occult stuff.
We need new, better occult stuff that isn't on fire.
Exactly.
I'll take it. Does anyone want to assist me?
I can't assist you, but one thing, it sounds to me like this is a smuggling job, but I think a lot of that depends on whether we're having to steal this stuff before transporting it. And so if this would be considered a burglary job, we would get +1 to this roll. But I don't think
This is smuggling.
okay.
If only we knew how to do that.
Okay, so you're taking the devil's bargain?
Yes, I am.
Alrighty. Drench quickly
All right,
changes.
so no assistance.
It didn't sound like it.
Yeah, sorry.
I think we
That's
went a
fine.
little overboard with assisting
Oh,
last
Jesus
time.
Christ.
All right.
This is my least favorite way to give my husband a boner.
Thank you for that. No, you know what? Yeah. So Bajo explains that he needs he wants a load of drugs to be moved from the location where they've been dropped at the docks and into his in here into his headquarters. He just doesn't want anyone to know that it was he that ordered this taken, because the drugs are supposedly owned by the Crows, who technically are the kind of the ruling gang of Crow's Foot. The only reason that they haven't been picked up is that the Crows' leader was recently found dead, and there's a tussle over the leadership that's occurring. So there are gang wars involved. And that's the only reason that it hasn't been picked up. And it also sounds like that while most of it is, I was trying to look up the made-up drug names.
I'm suddenly really glad that Blend is on vacation.
Yeah.
There are some.
He would be great for this mission. What are you talking about?
Well, he'd want to sample the things, I assume.
Drowse powder.
And next, you would just be on like this gung ho mission to invent like weed, but with ghosts.
That is true.
Now, apparently, mixed in with this, with these packages, are some bundles of echoes, as suggested by Kenny in chat. Now that, rather than pissing off the Crows, is also likely to piss off the Spirit Wardens. If taken. Bajo doesn't have any particular use for these echoes, nor does he want any trouble with the Spirit Wardens, who always seem to know when, where, and who has been tampering with spiritual stuff. But these collected echoes are essentially a kind of drug themselves, offering powerful emotions or repeated thoughts like mantras caught in place.
So like anxiety, but in drug form.
But the most intense anxiety you have ever felt. Isn't that something you'd want? Some people like that sort of thing. Just very, very strong emotions collected from the memories of long gone ghosts. Somehow distilled down into a powdery form. I think that's the information you get. Other than the specifics of where the stuff is. Can you hear me?
Yep. One thing that Ogre would want to know is what sort of dangers should we be expecting aside from the obvious blue coat checkpoints?
Badger says, well, if you get spotted grabbing the stuff, there's always the risk that the crows will try to take it from you along the way, or figure out who you are.
All right. How strong is the crow's presence in the area?
He says, well, the crows technically rule over Crow's Foot, but their hold isn't so strong round these parts, and he gestures at the warehouse you are sitting in.
Understood.
He has this wily look in his eyes. They're kind of twinkling, and he says, of course I'll be paying you, as well as telling you, setting you up with a good fence.
That sounds unusually generous. What's your game?
He says, no game, Miss, pretty Miss Suri. I just looking to make a pretty tidy profit, and I don't mind sharing it when times are justifying that sort of thing.
Well, that's very kind of you then.
Not at all, I assure you. No kindness. I just know how to sweeten the pot. What say you to 5% of the expected take upon delivery?
I think that sounds more than generous. In addition to the previously agreed upon contact.
Of course. Who would I be if I didn't give you the best fence I know? And somebody who with deep pockets to boot.
All right. Well, I guess we have an agreement.
Sounds like a plan to me.
Alrighty. So, he tells you where along the docks the cache of drugs is stored. And little Rose is calling.
Do you want to just take a
And-
5-minute break then?
Oh, is now a good time? Is now a good time?
Yeah, my cats are hungry.
Okay, perfect. Let us take a 5-minute break. We'll be back in about 5 minutes, folks. Hopefully ready to dig down into this score. Take
All right.
5.
See you guys in a bit.
Yeah. Kenny in the Twitch chat says, I wrote a gang a long time ago called Company of Ravens, Corvus Corax. They had multiple means by which to track their marks. And in private message, you're telling me about birds. That's creepy, Kenny. Oh, okay. Nacho Pants. You want that snap? I'll give you the snap. Hang on. See if we can get it. I have fun with that voice mod. Voice mod pro program. All right, folks. I'm going to actually go take 5 minutes, so I'll be right back with more Blades in the Dark rare imports. Testing.
I can hear you.
Hey.
Cool. All right. I think Suri will be back as well in just a moment. Mic is working. Thank you, Kenny, in the Twitch chat. Okay. Almost ready to pick back up again. Doing a little bit of setup here. All right. Suri, are you back?
Yep.
Excellent. All right. So,
I mean, of all the people who you should probably know where they are in the house.
so you guys know where the cache of drugs and bundles of echoes are going to be dropped. You know you've got to get to them before the crows do, and you know where you're going to take them. So, tell me how you would like to do that. What of the 6 methods are you going to use? And what load level are you going to have?
So I would like to gather a bit more information. I'd like to kind of take a look at the route that we're going to need to use.
Mm-hmm.
See if there's any, like, you know, secret passages that we might be able to exploit, or if using our cool new ability of the ghost echoes, if there's like a, you know, a ghost road that goes through a building that we might be able to use.
Okay, yeah, sounds like you're going to be using study, perhaps.
You want to do your usual finding the map stretch?
I could do that. I could also go wandering in this new ghost field thing that we've discovered. So
Yeah, do you want to scout it out in person before the fact, or do you want to?
do we have time? Like, is it already there, or is it like next week it's gonna be dropped?
It's going to be dropped.
Yeah, then I would like to go covertly scope the location out, right?
Sure.
Yeah, it's sounding to me like it would be, for what I was thinking, was more survey than a study.
More a what? Sorry.
More survey than study.
Okay. Sure.
Just sort of do a quick pass, kind of like maybe get in the cart and.
Yeah, I mean, to me, studying would be like if I was going over looking granny kind of thing, but I don't feel like A, we have time for that, and B, it's more of like getting a general sense for like, oh, there's something we can use, but it's not like a full investigation kind of thing.
Yeah, this is also a good thing for flashbacks.
Potentially.
We know we would have had time. We could just roll into the score and then flash back to last week when we scoped out the spot.
Potentially, yes. I guess that's my question then. So you want to use the carriage, and in terms of the route, do you want to use ghostly roads that have been built over and no longer exist? Ghostly roads and alleyways that no longer exist in the normal world.
What would be really convenient if there was some sort of ghostly superhighway that went over the entire city.
Well, there's no superhighway, but
We're looking
there.
for the ghost beltway.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
if there are ghost roads that we can use to either pursuit or to just go in an unorthodox route, that would be awesome.
Okay, so that is what you that now you have detailed the route and the means. So all that remains to decide is the load level each of you is carrying.
Just normal, I think. Like, we're not trying to pretend to be normal people, and we're not really going in, like, heavy loaded, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna be going as normal as well.
That seems wise.
Okay, so you guys are both taking normal loads. What about Suri?
Yeah, normal load.
All right then. So, let's see. Who wants to roll the engagement roll?
I'll do it. Why not?
All my engagement roll songs were deleted.
Your engagement roll mixtape.
Yeah. Because they were on SoundCloud, and Roll20, I guess because of various, copyright infringement, they just deleted all the SoundCloud stuff.
Yeah, that's why I was bringing up the alternatives, because I know Lucas has been getting really frustrated with lack of music options on Roll20.
There are some great things, especially from Tabletop Audio and Kevin MacLeod, but you have to kind of have the patience to really search, because you don't really know what it's going to be until you've listened to it.
Gotcha.
All right. So, let's see. Where were we? Engagement roll. Okay, here we go. Engagement roll. So when the action starts, what is the position? So you get one dice just for luck. Do you want to go over the rest of them, or do you want me to? I have it open anyway.
Why don't you do it then?
Okay. Is the operation particularly bold or daring?
I don't know.
I wouldn't say so. You're doing something that Bajo asked you to do. You're hoping you don't get in the middle of a gang war between two major factions, but while there is that danger, it's not particularly. Well, I don't know. We might consider it pretty
not
bold.
particularly because of the plan. Like, the plan is pretty straightforward.
Yeah. You are stealing from the crows, but it's not. But that's just because it's a higher tier, which is going to give you a disadvantage. The plan's detail exposes a vulnerability of the target or hits them where they're weakest. Yes, I would say that taking advantage of the chaos at the top of the leadership of the crows is definitely hitting a weak point. So that's +1 for that.
Okay.
Friends or contacts provide aid or insight. Well,
Well,
Bajo did help you out here. So I would say yes. So that's another +1. The target is not a lower tier, and district modifiers. It doesn't involve a ship on the docks, so there's no district modifiers. The operation is not overly complex or contingent on many factors. The target is not particularly strong against this approach. Are there enemies and rivals interfering in the operation? Enemies or rivals of you guys? Not as of yet. Unless the spirit wardens get involved. So then again, maybe yes, because you are interested in these bundles of echoes, aren't you?
Dredge?
I mean, we're not.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, he'll take whatever he can get his hands on.
Okay.
All right, so you're going to take -1 for that. And I already
Dredge has
mentioned...
been trying to study these arcane things and never has time to do so. Because they're always on fire or there's something new to go get.
It's definitely fast-paced. I was trying to think about that. Like, you know, should we have more downtime actions, or something? But like you can't repeat them or something along those lines.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I spend all of my downtime on healing and stress relief.
I feel the same way. So maybe it is more interesting if we add some extra downtime actions, but that's
All right, something to
probably
consider.
a discussion for another time.
Probably. For now, you have taken... there's also -1 dice, as I mentioned, for the target is a higher tier. Because
Yep,
you
we
guys
already
are
took
tier
that into
1.
account.
Okay. So what does that come
I've
out
got
to?
1 die. So
Alrighty.
this is gonna go great, like it always does.
Okay.
Hey!
Yeah, what?
The
Yeah.
engagement
God damn it.
roll is a 5. The most interesting result.
Oh, did forget to mention, Matt, for our engagement
Uh-huh.
roll last week, we got a critical.
And it still went and ended up with everything on fire?
That was all before the
Oh.
the score started. The
That was
score
from,
us trying to get rid of the Curse of Bones.
Yeah, so I've been waiting this whole game for somebody to roll the demonic attention entanglement after a score. And that's what happened.
Oh, is that what it was? Okay.
Mhm.
Yep.
That's what it was.
And it just made everything go to hell in the most realistic way possible. The most literal way possible.
Okay,
Dredge was
so...
originally more focused on demon things, and then everything we encountered was ghosts. So, I guess now he'll go back to being focused on demon things.
Alright. So despite the image that you guys have on your screen, hopefully, horses are a pretty rare sight in Duskfall. Your cart, as with most, is drawn by the large Akarosi goats, letting out their weird bleats and staring with their yellow eyes.
Wait, how are their bleats weird? Demonstrate.
Okay.
Yeah, please.
Well done,
Perfect.
Max.
Okay. But as our camera focuses in, pulling through the layer of smoke that surrounds the industrial areas of the city, past the clock towers and the bells that ring out when the Church of the Ecstasy of the Flesh is having some kind of celebration, down to the level of the cobblestone streets where you guys are rattling through. At this moment, your carriage is rattling up through the along a narrow street. You've just come out of a ghostly path. You can see the smoky archway kind of closing up behind you as you rattle along a road that no longer exists, and as you look over your shoulder, is quickly not existing anymore. Again. As you pass under the one of the offices of the Duskville Gazette, heading into Crow's Foot, peering out of your window in the electric street lamp light, you can barely make out figures on the rooftops, and a couple of them in the street up ahead, almost like with their hands in their pockets, like they're lounging, but every muscle tensed, and they're all watching you.
Okay, how many, roughly?
It's a little hard to tell, but more than Ogre murdered in the cult lair.
Okay.
Is that just like our unit of measurement now?
Unless not everybody you're seeing has ill intent toward you.
Right.
Maybe they're just hanging out on a rooftop and hiding for perfectly innocent bystander reasons.
I'm sure.
Aren't we wandering into some kind of gang war here? Like, they're just probably on the lookout for anything out of the usual.
Says Dredge, leaning over the empty space in the middle of the cart. You are
Who's driving this cart?
I don't know.
The goats are driving themselves.
We're all conversing inside of it somehow.
Who wants
Honestly,
to
it makes
be driving
the most
the goats?
sense for me that Dredge would, because he'd probably have the most knowledge of the ghost passages.
Dredge leans in through the narrow window in the front of the carriage to say this, talking
It's
over
nice.
the piles of kind of bound up packages that you have picked up from the cache location. The drop spot.
Oh, we already have the goods? Sorry.
You already have the goods.
We're on our way to the Crow's Foot.
Gotcha.
They are mostly like tightly bound, waterproof bags of drowse powder. However, there are two bundles that seem to be made of wicker, and what they hold is not quite of this world.
Ogre will look to Dredge and just say, I appreciate your optimism, but I tend to operate under the assumption that if someone might be an enemy, they are until they prove otherwise. It's just a lot safer that way.
That's why you have so many friends.
That's why I'm still alive.
Fair point.
How close are we to the next point that we can jump into a ghost way?
You'd have to get around the two guys standing in the middle of the narrow street, and past the following T-junction.
Suri, do you think you can talk your way through them?
I think I probably can.
I mean, so I'm out there driving. Did these two people just watch us, like, come out of some sort of ghost store?
To them, since they can't really see the ghostly area, it looks like you just came out of some dark alleyway that was you probably had to squeeze the carriage through. It's like their mind will just, kind of gloss it over.
Right. Yeah. Somebody else's problem effect.
Mm-hmm.
Are they watching us? Like the two in the street?
Yeah. And these are the guys. They have these trench coats, and their hands are in their pockets, and they're leaning against like the far wall. It's a T-junction, so they're in the street, but they're leaning against the wall, and they're staring straight at you. Their bodies tense, although it's hard to tell under the trench coat.
Okay. Well, I brought my subterfuge supplies with me. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out the official-looking documents that I had for a previous job on the bridge that make it look as though I'm conducting some kind of an official cleanup mission. And I'm going to approach them.
Okay, so you're going to
So I'll
stop the
stop the
carriage.
carriage.
Yes, please.
Okay, so you tell Dredge to stop the carriage. He does so. He pulls back on the goat's reins. And Suri steps out, holding a bundle of papers, and walks toward these strange men in trench coats, under the eye of a few more, an unknown number up on the rooftops, on the tall buildings looming over you all around. There's a flutter of wings as you walk up to them, Suri, and a crow lands on the shoulder of the man on the left. He's the clean-shaven one, as the man on the right has a large mustache that has been ill taken care of, and is kind of ragged at the edges, just like the man himself.
All right. So, I guess I approach the clean-shaven one because he looks more in charge. And I present the badge of office and the official papers and say, we're going to have to ask you to move out of the way. We have some dangerous items that we're transporting across the city for disposal.
The two of them look at each other in, confusion, and back at this woman approaching them. What are you trying to do here? You're just trying to get them to think that you're here on you're some city official.
Pretty much get them to move past, let me move past and leave me alone.
Okay, so what do you want to roll to do that? Kind of bluster your way past.
Probably sway. I'm not trying. I guess I could do command, but I think I'm using a slightly gentler approach than.
Okay. So you're
Yeah, it
you're
sounds-
like, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, it sounds like you're trying to avoid being forced to give them orders.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. So you're gonna try to sway these guys. Let's see how this goes. Now we just determined this is a risky situation. According to our engagement roll. Your effect, I think, will be standard effect.
All right.
It might not be that easy to get them to let this cab, this goat-drawn cab past, if on official business. But on the other hand, they don't want to necessarily engage with you. How would you like to have prepared for this? Flashback?
Well, at the very least, Dredge could be not dressed like his normal self and be
Totally.
at least wearing like a hat or something that kind of looks official.
So flashback to Dredge rifling through some.
Oh, I don't
how would
picture
he?
Dredge rifling through anything. I picture Suri forcibly putting a hat on his head.
That's probably more likely.
All right. So how did you guys get these official police business hats?
Well, we had them from a previous mission, like I said. Like, we had these costumes from our prior mission where we were pretending to be like city maintenance workers.
Yeah, it's like we have like a hard hat or something.
Yeah.
Okay, but you probably wouldn't have. You had to get those things back up to code, and make them look official again. So it's still going to be an acquire asset.
Well, this actually falls under subterfuge supplies as a standard item.
Okay.
Just their what they say for that is literally a theatrical makeup kit, a selection of blank documents ready for the forger's hand, costume jewelry, a reverse cloak and distinctive hat, a forged badge of office. And it's one load.
Okay. So you're saying it's just included. You still had to forge these documents then.
Documents are another thing that's a load item, and it's something that
Yeah, you said it was blank documents. You said it was blank documents ready for a forger's hand.
Right. Yeah. The documents are separate. What Suri was saying. I was just talking about from Dredge's perspective of basically wearing a disguise.
Right.
If that makes sense.
What character gets that stuff automatically?
Everybody. It's a
So
standard item.
I'll use one of my load to have
Gotcha.
the disguised stuff.
Okay.
And then I'll burn stress to be assisting her with the role
Gotcha.
while I sit there and try to look official.
Perfect. The devil's bargain here will be that if you succeed, the devil's bargain here will be these guys won't. They will report back about you to other members of their gang.
Is there a reason why we wouldn't want that?
It's your call. It's your role.
I'll take it. I honestly can't see the downside of that. I kind of assumed that they would do that anyway.
Okay.
I got a 6.
6. All right. The two guys look at you, look at your papers, look at your hat, look at Dredge's hat. They look up at the guys on the roof, and they kind of nod, and then they slide out of the way, kind of like slide off the wall and kind of grumpily move out of the way. But one of them is like feeding his crow. The clean-shaven man is feeding his crow, and then he kind of tucks something into its feathers, and the bird takes off. As Suri gets back in the carriage and you guys trundle along further. You seem to have gotten away with that. You realize that this crow's checkpoint or ambush, waiting for just the goods you're carrying, could have gone very badly for you, but you're past it. Your cart slips in to a impossibly narrow alley between two buildings, but when you're in it, it just barely fits your cart in this ghostly, flickering, shimmering, gray form of walls that are no longer there, and cobblestones long since covered up by other structures. That gives you a good shortcut. You're almost where you need to be. But something is twitching within the packages that you're carrying. And you you realize it's those wicker wrapped packages with something inside, not quite of this world. It's moving around and clattering slightly together.
Okay. Does the movement seem like... Is it random enough that it seems like it's something intelligent and living, like trying to get out? Or is it just like something got loose and is clattering around with the movement of the carriage?
Hard to say, but it almost seems to be in time with the motions of a figure a ways down the road as you slip back into the material world. Just for a second, you guys are taking these ghostly roads. But this figure is in both of them.
Okay. I'm going to wrap my hands in reddish energy, and I'm going to use that, and I'm going to basically just like grab onto the offending wicker containers, and basically try to force it to hold still using that energy.
Interesting.
I don't know if it's going to do anything, because I don't know whether there's actually a spirit involved, but that's what Ogre thinks to try.
You definitely... You can definitely do that. Wow, that's interesting. I have to think about that for a second.
Okay.
So would the people in the carriage not have noticed the figure yet?
Are you looking out of the window?
Well, I'm up front, so that's why I'm assuming I've
Yep.
noticed him.
Yes.
Ogre has been looking out the window periodically. He likes to keep an eye on things. So.
All right. In that case, Ogre, you definitely spot this figure.
Oh.
Of course.
For a second, the thought goes through your mind. That must be the one who calls themselves Antisthenes. But it's awfully hard to be certain under the uniform and the mask.
Mm-hmm.
In any case, Ogre, you feel this tug. Now, you could, you definitely feel like there's this spirit cord or thread that's like this person is tugging on and trying to like pull it away from you guys as your cart is rushing through this partially ghostly, partially real alleyway.
Okay, if there is or if that's what it feels like, if it feels like a cord, then Ogre is going to pull out a really nice knife, and he's going to imbue it with that same spiritual energy, and he's going to try to cut the cord.
Ooh. I think this is going to
Nice.
be an action roll.
Okay.
So he's going to try to cut the cord. Now the cord is going to resist. Like a living, writhing snake. It lashes out, trying to loop your wrist as you're trying to cut it. And snag you, and the figure in the uniform, in the mask, is like shaking it, like they're whipping, like making a wave go through a long rope.
Okay.
And Suri and Dredge, you're kind of aware of this as well, as you're kind of flashing through this gray, ghostly alleyway, and then back into the material world and back, and you're kind of passing this figure.
I mean, is Dredge aware of the sort of battle of wills that is happening?
Something is definitely happening. I think Dredge would be partially aware. He might not know every single thing that's... Like, he might not be able to track, like, the road ahead and steering the goats, and, like, exactly what's going on with Ogre at the same time. But he kind of knows.
Yeah, Ogre's saying that, or at least the bare minimum, basically saying, like, you know, a spirit warden's onto us, kind of thing.
Oh yeah, I mean, is this guy... Do we recognize this guy as a spirit warden with the mask and everything?
Yes, this is the uniform of a spirit warden, for sure. And Ogre mentioned he tangled with one.
Right.
So for the action roll, this is sounding like if it was just an inanimate rope, it probably would have been wreck. But if this thing is actively fighting me and I'm like having to maneuver in order to be able to properly cut it, then it sounds more like skirmish to me.
Okay then. In that case, this will be a risky position.
Okay.
And the effect will be standard, because you can cut ghost stuff with your ability.
Okay. And then because
Or I guess, am I supposed to say, like, the effect is 0, and then you're like, yeah, but I have this thing, so now it's standard.
yeah. So, I mean, so I've got potency because of Ghost Fighter, and then I've also got a fine hand weapon, so it's a tier higher than I am.
Nice. So you just have like a fine hand weapon knife?
Yep.
That's awesome.
So would that bring the effect up to great then? Or were you already taking the knife into account with me saying that it was saying it was standard?
Sorry. When saying it was standard, am I taking the knife into account? No, I didn't know you had the knife. I am just saying.
Sorry. Yeah,
I am
I
stating
didn't
what
say
it
that.
was with potency.
Okay. So then that would bring the effect up to great.
Okay. So could you, before you roll, could you tell me exactly what you're trying to accomplish?
Yeah. So I'm trying to stop this spirit warden from being able to influence the arcane stuff. That, like, he's clearly got a hold of something, and I'm trying to break that hold.
Mm-hmm.
So that hopefully that'll give us an opportunity to lose him later.
Okay. Dredge, this is similar to the lasso you used on that ghost.
Yeah, like, I literally have like a lightning staff thing that does this sort of deal, so...
Mm-hmm. This is a little subtler and a little more nasty. Not something Dredge has, but something the Spirit Wardens do seem to. It's actually like this kind of wrist-mounted thing that he's got that shoots it out.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Devil's bargain.
The Devil's Bargain. The Devil's Bargain. Oh, man.
The
Devil's Bargain.
if you have one, go. I had a kind of silly one.
Go for it.
Yeah, the metaphysical rope gets tied and like the dock, whatever is connected to it on our end in the baskets, like ends up getting tied to Ogre essentially because the rope like gets tied to him.
Interesting.
Like he gets all tangled up in it, so to speak.
All tangled up in Ghost. Yeah. So you'd get to keep a piece. It won't just vanish into the ether. But you'll be tethered to, or tangled up with, the piece of spirit cord. That's the Devil's Bargain.
You know what? Sure. It'll make things more interesting. I will take that. And then, did either of you want to assist me? I'm not sure
So I'm
what
not.
you can do to help, but
I mean, there's a number of ways I can think of for Dredge to help, but I kind of also want to save my stress for if it comes to a more direct
no problem.
confrontation with
Also,
this guy.
Suri's the one in the carriage, correct?
Right.
yeah.
So if she wanted to help, she could.
Yeah, I can.
You don't have to. It's just wanting to check.
Oh, it's a little stress.
Okay. Oof. A 4 after all of that.
Yeah, that sucks.
Oh,
5 dice. Mediocre result.
Yeah.
wow.
It is so hard to roll a 6 in this game.
So, what happens? Ogre, you want to describe how you cut the cord?
Yeah, so basically it sounds like what I'm doing is basically, it started as just me trying to, grab the nearest section and then start cutting. And as it did, it started wrapping itself around me. And so I basically, rather than sitting there and trying to keep cutting at that same location as it keeps moving around, I just pick one other spot that's a little further on. And so I cut it that way. And that's how it gets tangled around me.
So, twisting and thrashing in the cart, and his hands getting tangled up in this spirit cord as you rush through these different kind of senses of alleyways, both present and past. Ogre is thrashing around in the cart. Suri reaches forward and assists by grabbing the spirit cord as it kind of runs out the window with a zzz sound. The spirit warden outside tugging on it and moving it around almost by the force of will, directing it like a living thing. Ogre kind of twists the finely crafted knife in his hand and, shimmering with spirit energy, slices the spirit cord, severing the spirit warden's connection to it, but leaving himself tangled up in it. The spirit warden instantly reacts to all of this and comes in close to the cart. And as it is cut, kind of twists there with a flick of the wrist, twists it around and loops the physical cord around Dredge.
Just around Dredge in general. Like all of him.
Lassoing Dredge, and it as I said, it snakes and it kind of moves. Not like a physical, not like an inanimate object, but like a snake, and it loops around Dredge and around the kind of almost like a guardrail thing that is on the side of the carriage. And the Spirit Warden leaps into the air and lands on the runners on the side of the cart, and is now riding along with you as the goat cart goes clopping up the street.
All right, I would like to resist that. Because I've dealt with the Spirit Warden once before, and that was basically an entire score. I don't want to do that again.
Also, I'm really not clear on how Dredge has been lassoed and the cart, and whether I'm about to be cut in half by.
Because it's not because it's more. Think of it more like a snake. Think of it more like a
No,
living
I know,
thing.
but like it goes around Dredge and then also around the cart, and if it
Yeah.
gets tighter, it's gonna cut Dredge in half. That's what I'm picturing.
Oh, I get what you're saying. Yes, there's a very real danger of that. So Ogre's going to try and resist this.
Yeah. So it
Dredge
sounded
is,
like
of course, hunched over, like trying to make the goats go faster up the street.
Yeah, so it's sounding like a prowess resist of basically like me trying to just kind of intersect myself between the Spirit Warden and Dredge in order to try to throw off his whip.
It could be prowess if you want it to be.
Okay.
I would also accept resolve.
I will stick with prowess. Because I'm really good at prowess, so I take no stress for resisting.
Wow. So, this whole scenario that I just described runs through Ogre's mind in an instant, and his rage burns white hot. No! The Spirit Warden assholes will not be cutting Dredge in half this day. And even in his tangled
Or any
state...
other day.
well, in his
One
tangled
day at a
state, Ogre like rips through the cord and or enough through part of it, and like loops it around using his own quick reflexes to interfere with the lashing lasso of the Spirit Warden in both the physical and metaphysical realms, and knocks it aside so that it catches only the cart and not Dredge.
Hooray!
As it trundles up the streets, the Spirit Warden has tugged themselves onto the runner and is now riding along, gripping. And you can see the masked, that creepy, pale mask of bronze, kind of lowering slowly to look in through the windows of the cart, peering through the curtains that are swaying as it trundles over the cobblestones.
As he looks through the window, Ogre is going to try to Sparta kick him in the face.
So even while his wrists are all tangled up with this spirit cord, Ogre is not going to slow down a whit.
No, he is not. And in order to
All right.
get past this crazy entanglement that he's in, he's going to push himself with not to be trifled with to perform a feat of physical force that verges on the superhuman.
Just be careful not to knock the whole cart over.
All right.
There's a good chance I'm breaking a window here.
No, I think you're definitely kicking through a window.
I think you're definitely kicking through a window. That is 100% happening.
You're kicking
Yes.
through the door, as far as I'm concerned.
All right. Yeah, we have ourselves a goat cart chase scene here. All right. So you are thrashing around. You lean back and you kick through the window, glass shattering out into the night. Let's see how that goes. What kind of skill are you rolling? Suri, are you going to be assisting?
No, I think he's got it.
Yeah, I mean, this is, again, it's definitely sounding like skirmish to me. I am
Okay.
picking a fight with this guy.
This is desperate.
I kind of figured.
However, the effect will be pretty darn good. You can kick this guy full in the Spirit Warden mask. Guy or gal, kind of hard to tell. So I will say that the effect is standard, and then you just triggered not to be trifled with, so it will become great.
Awesome. And then, sorry, did you say you were assisting?
No, I am
Oh,
not.
you did not. Okay. Alright, that's fine. Here we go. That's a 5.
So success.
Indeed. Would you like to add anything to the description of what Ogre's doing?
No, I think I've got it pretty clear.
So, leaning back,
Blunt and straightforward.
throwing his hands behind his head, even as they're entangled in the spirit cord, and thrusting forward with both feet, Ogre is launching his heavy boots through the glass window, shattering it, and just kicking this guy full in the face, or in the bronze mask. Yeah. Don't forget to give yourself an experience for a desperate roll.
Yep, I did. Thank you, though.
Okay. So it works. There is there's a crash of breaking glass. There's a thud. There's of the boots hitting the bronze mask. There's a shit as the Spirit Warden is shoved right off the side of the cart, kind of tumbling onto the cobblestones outside. However, two things happen. One is Ogre cuts himself on the glass. They don't have safety glass in Duskvol. So sharp shards slice into above the boots and into your ankles. So you're going to take a level 2 harm slashed ankles. And Balrog-like, the spirit cord whips out, even as the Spirit Warden, they kind of they fall, but they don't really hurt themselves. They roll on the cobblestones and just like get this like superhero landing pose, and like almost like Spider-Man, holding their wrist out, shooting out the cord, and lacerating Ogre further with it. So that's another level 2 harm.
I was sure you were going to say lassoing Dredge again.
Lassoing from this angle in my mind, that is actually possible because it could curve around. But he's going to be lassoing Ogre's ankle.
His shredded ankle? Oh no.
His shredded ankle.
Okay, well, I'm gonna be resisting that again.
Okay.
So I assume prowess again.
Yeah, I think there's no other way that this could go. Oh my god.
Tier 1 stress.
Ogre, in his rage, in his blinding anger, pulled his feet back in.
Yeah.
That's
really his happy place.
And the whip goes. Shoo. Still gonna take a level 1 slashed ankles or cut ankles. We'll reduce it to cuts instead of slashed harm.
Well, the good news is that Ogre's wearing some armor, so he's actually okay on that.
Nice. So the heavy pants,
like heavy boots or something.
yeah. Nice. So
Nice boot armor.
the boots are well designed for kicking through windows.
Those classic armored pants of Dosqual.
Hey, this is not the first time that his legs have been gone after.
No, by all means. Armored pants makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So while that's all been going on, Dredge has basically been focused on, driving the cart through these, ghost doors, essentially.
Indeed.
And, I would like to actually make an attune roll to sort of find a good, faster route, essentially. Sort of like, essentially feel ahead for where there's going to be options. And the other thing I was thinking is, if it's past, like we're seeing past versions of these streets, there's probably multiple different versions back through time.
There are indeed.
And so I want to be like essentially choosing the best of the various time periods for each of these as we're going as well.
You're like, should we go with the one from 50 years ago or the road as it looked 3 centuries ago?
Yeah. Like if I go too far back, it's just forest, and that's not good.
Oh, nope, tree, fast forward in time. It's like he's clicking through channels on a TV or something.
Yeah, exactly. But as we're hurdling through these things being fought by some guy.
Exactly. That's actually going to be pretty important because you don't want to be observed as you come to Bajo Baz's the Lampblack's headquarters and Bajo Baz's office.
This guy if possible.
And you'd like to lose this guy if possible. So, you said you're going to make an attune roll to kind of feel, to sense and flick through the TV channels, as it were.
Yeah.
Cool. That's awesome. I think that's a desperate roll.
Oh, good. What's the effect?
I think the effect here, you have a lot of advantages. The only real issue is that this spirit warden wants to follow you and seemed to sense the wicker packages of echoes.
He did just get kicked in the face.
He did just get kicked in the face, though, so that could help. The effect here will be standard. So, unless you have an ability that changes it, which is possible.
I don't think I do.
It's desperate standard.
And then, people are stressed out, so not assisting. Is that where we're at right now? Do you have a devil's bargain that would be of interest?
Yeah.
We get trapped in the past.
There is a strange, ghostly path that arches over the city, springing up like a glowing, ghostly gray rainbow from the left.
Okay.
It will no doubt take you where you want to go, but by some means as yet unknown.
Is the devil's bargain that I take the Nightmare Road, or is it that it exists at all?
It exists. I think those are the same thing.
Let's be fair. Dredge is taking the Nightmare Road. We all knew that. Who let Dredge drive? Really, honestly.
I mean, if he's not blowing anything up.
You said it correctly. This is the Nightmare Road. All of a sudden, as Dredge turns the cart, and takes this arching path that seems to go over the rooftops of the city. Is that too loud?
It started off okay, but it got worse and worse. Just like I'm assuming is actually happening.
You all feel this sense of weightlessness. You're rising up in the air. The Spirit Warden, the city, seems much smaller below you. Fading away as you make your getaway. But you're also away from any sense of grounding, of reality, of it's definitely going to be interesting. An interesting ride. Let's see, you did get a 5.
Yep, that's right. Is this going to be one of those shortcuts we don't talk about? And then they all woke up at home, and it was okay.
You're not where you're supposed to be.
Okay, are we all hearing that, or
Yeah.
Yep.
is that the demon that you guys were talking about?
I don't know.
I think so.
Whip the goats a little bit. Get the goats moving. Do the goats even matter at this point, or are we just like floating through space?
Where are you going? Come back! Come back!
You urge the ghosts to greater exertions, and you're going to succeed in escaping whatever seemed to come at you along the Nightmare Road. But it reached out and tried to pull each of you back, and I think that's going to be a level 1 harm on all 3 of you and the goats.
Not the goats.
Oh, gee.
Can I resist, but specifically for the goats?
Yes, you can resist for the goats.
Well, if I resist, it only affects me, or it affects everyone?
I feel like
Everyone's going to have to resist this individually.
Okay.
But whoever wants to resist for it doesn't matter who resists for the ghosts. I guess it would be Dredge.
Yeah, so I'll resist for myself and the goats, I guess.
Okay.
That'll be
yeah.
2 separate rolls, presumably.
And by the way, this would be a level 1 harm nightmare hold. This would be, sorry, what was that? Resolve.
If I want to resist for myself and the goats, do I roll resist twice?
No, just once. Dredge, you're just saying Dredge cares about the goats.
Well, Dredge is the one who brought the goats here. He feels somewhat responsible towards them. He cares probably more about the goats than he does about the rest of the party.
Okay. Let's see. Should you roll twice? Or should I just fold that in?
I mean, it's a risk to me to roll twice because of the harm, the stress involved.
Because of the stress. I think we'll just fold it into the same roll. But we'll add 1 stress to the normal amount that you would get.
Okay, that's fair. Here we go. Oh shit.
Oh no.
Okay, so Dredge is out.
Oh my god.
No.
So you don't take the harm. But it's
Right, but
so
I-
stressful.
Yeah, I snap.
So you're gonna get a trauma, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. All right then.
Ogre's not gonna resist. He's just gonna take the harm. What was it called? Nightmare?
Level 1 harm, nightmare hold.
Okay.
And
So
remember,
quick
guys.
question.
Yeah.
I went way over the stress limit.
It's
So
just once
do
you
I-
hit it, you do not wrap.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, you
thank
just clear all stress when you take a trauma. So Dredge, when you guys alight and you leave the Nightmare Road. Thank you for that phrase, by the way.
No
You
problem.
leave the Nightmare Road behind. And gravity kind of hits you all at once, and you feel very heavy and sluggish. You have landed safely inside Bajo Baz's the Lampblack's territory.
I picture we landed like in his bathroom.
It connects to a road, but it's like where the goat. It's like where the Lampblack's
We're
goat
just, like, in
stables
his
used
stable,
to be. Yeah,
randomly.
you're just in the stables, in a place where the cart should not fit.
And Dredge just kind of slumps off the cart into the hay.
Dredge is fast asleep, his eyes moving quick. He's trapped in some kind of nightmare. And he is done for a while, for the rest of the score. But the score is just ending. Bajo Baz is very thankful and is delighted to take the load of drugs off your hands, though he offers you guys a wicker package of echoes. In addition to the other
Take 'em.
rewards.
Yeah, we'll take him. Dredge is asleep right now, but we know he's gonna want.
Okay. Let's see. Bajo Baz claps you guys on the back and says, I'm delighted to make an introduction to someone that I hope you'll be able to do very good business with for a very long time.
Excellent. That's exactly what we were hoping for. And I also seem to remember that there was a promise of some additional payment.
And he says, "Of course, of course. Now, I'll increase your payment if you want to take it in Drownless powder. But if you'd prefer cold hard silver, the agreed upon amount stands."
Oh. I think we'll stick with the silver for now.
So you would get more coin if you take the Drowse powder, but also more heat.
Yeah, don't we have a lot of heat right now?
We've got 5 heat right now.
Is that bad?
It's 5 out of 9.
How did we reduce so much heat? I thought we were like really close to being
Yeah,
last time.
that was one of Ogre's last downtime actions, was reducing our heat.
I didn't realize you had reduced so much. Oh, okay. Do you want to take the drowse powder then?
Well, we're about to get more heat anyways. But
So, Bajo, your first the story reward, if you will. Bajo says, "I know a mason. He's done a lot of work for rich folks over in Whitehall, lords and ladies that like their fancy mansions to be made with the best stone. He has also a pretty decent hand, as I understand it, with making little nooks and crannies and secret doors in those places. Creepy, if you ask me, but I know this place like the back of my hand. Vipont Dunville. He's daring, Akarosi. He looks calm, walks softly. It's the boots, they say. Vipont Dunville is a good man. He's he'll take stuff and sell it to interested buyers for you through all of the lords and ladies that he knows who collect weird shit that you guys are into. A little bit about Vipont. His goal, he's looking for the love of his life. And he doesn't much care how many women he's got to sleep with to find her. Yes, you have spelled it correctly, Ogre.
awesome. First.
Hobbies. He likes shooting. Got a collection of old guns, as I understand it, including a couple of rune-carved rifles that I've seen him fire myself. Set fire to just about everything, but too noisy for me and too deadly, honestly. He's very faithful in the. He's very faithful to his particular religion, of which I may or may not also be a member. And don't piss him off, because he'll come after you. But Vipont is a good man, and I'll make an introduction for you. So go ahead and take +1. Actually, yeah, since you're friends with Bajo Baz already, you're just gonna straight up get a +1 to your relationship with the Lampblax.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Normally I would start a clock like I did for like the Unseen. But I think because you have a personal friendship with Bajo Baz, the leader of the Lampblax, what was I doing? Oh, yes. You're just going to get the +1 in this case.
Cool.
All right. And other rewards. His man that I mentioned before, the quiet fellow, who's very large and always carried a dirty cloth, produces from a back room a couple of bags of silver pieces. There's good money in this sort of thing, and you just brought them a big pile of it. So he keeps pulling out, he's like, clink, bag of silver, clink, 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 clink. 6 coin, says Bajobaz.
Well, damn.
Don't spend it all in one place.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure doing business with you.
And with you, I fancy the crows are gonna be none too happy with how things are going right now. Bajo says, why don't we have some more of that fine old Emperor's whiskey to celebrate? And he pours you each a little shot.
Excellent. Well, I'm delighted that it went so well. We should work together more often.
And he says, I'll drink to that. And kind of nods and turns away. So in terms of heat... Oh, right. What's my payoff music? Imagine that was playing as they were handing out the bags of coin on the dirty desk. There we go. I'm going to say that, let's see, 2 for it being contained, standard exposure. +1 for a high profile or well-connected target. And there was no killing, because the Spirit Warden just kind of rolled like a acrobat on the cobblestones.
I frankly would not have been surprised if kicking a man in the face with a strength verging on the superhuman and having them fall off of a wagon would have killed somebody. But apparently,
Nope.
the Spirit Wardens are made of sturdier stuff.
You've noticed that before.
Yes.
So that's going to be 3 heat.
Okay. That is literally us being 1 point away from wanted. Getting a new rank in wanted, I should say.
Wow. Well, that was close.
Yeah.
What was I gonna start a clock for? Oh, yes. Those guys are reporting back about you to the crows. I'm never able to see where the clocks appear.
It's right next to the Demmer Sisters decide to eliminate competition.
Why is it there? Makes no sense. Alright, so we're starting a clock for the crows. Figure out who took their stash.
Well, it definitely wasn't those workers who had to go through.
Well, they were fooled, but their boss, Lissa, who has come into power since the killing of the old boss, might not be fooled. And you, apparently 5% of the take was 6 coin.
Yeah.
So feel free to do some math on that. Okay.
Rep.
Rep. Yes. So you get 2 rep plus 1 per higher tier. Or per tier higher. So 3 rep.
All right, so that becomes 4 because of our leverage, which is exactly enough for us to get a stronghold on tier 1.
Wow. So you've now got a strong hold. You're using your the turf you got, the cash in the that you stole from the Foghounds, the cash spot, and you're able to stash a bunch more of your stuff there, various gang things probably. Some of this equipment that you guys have lying around everywhere.
Our warehouse is starting to get crowded.
Yeah, stronghold. Very nice. All right. Think that's it. So, why don't we... Let's see. Do you guys want... Why don't we roll entanglements?
Okay.
So who wants to roll entanglement? As a consequence of the score.
Well, I did it last time and we summoned a demon, so maybe someone else should do it.
So Suri should roll again. And every time.
Yeah. Or Dredge will intentionally summon one. Dredge is definitely unconscious and probably shouldn't be rolling this.
But what if something comes through his dream?
Ooh.
Yeah, I think Dredge should roll.
What am I rolling?
You are rolling 0 dice for entanglements because we're at wanted level 0.
What's your heat,
Is that
though?
a fortune roll at this point?
Yeah.
Yes, it's a fortune roll of 0 dice, which means, for those who don't know, means rolling 2 dice and taking the lower result.
I did bad.
Yes, you did bad.
How much heat do you guys have?
We have 8 heat.
Oh boy.
I told you Dredge should not roll this die. He got a critical failure on his resistance before.
Well, we were
Wow.
waiting for the demon to show up again.
Good thing I'm asleep. I like the idea that you keep encountering this demon and Dredge is always out of the picture for some reason.
Oh, this is worse than the demon. This is the police.
Well, clearly Dredge didn't do anything wrong. He was asleep the whole time.
Stand by. Here we go. Okay. So, somewhat unbeknownst to you guys until later, an inspector presents a case file of evidence on rare imports.
This is great.
Oh wait, you rolled. We take the lower of the two rolls, not the higher.
yeah,
roll.
it's a 5. It's
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm
4
sorry.
or 5. So, yeah, it's demonic notice or a show of force.
Right. Okay. Gotcha. I should not have closed the book.
So it's a show of demon force.
Yeah.
No.
850 is where it
No. This is going to be... This is going to be something else. You know what happens? You know, Suri and Ogre? How Trick asked you to take care of a little problem
Yes.
because someone was snooping around her home?
Yes.
A pair of bronze-masked, black uniformed figures start hanging around your warehouse. Sometimes they look like they're sniffing the air behind their masks. Sometimes they split off, and one of them is seen around your cash that you took. And they start searching around for it. Occasionally flitting through the shadows. And every now and then accosting you as you leave your warehouse. Asking you questions. Probing.
Where are you going? Excuse me. Where are you going? Excuse me. Don't ignore me. I'm talking to you.
Out for a walk.
A walk, huh? Hey, I've heard you guys sell some spiced goat, right? Do you think you could show me around, maybe cook up some spiced goat?
I work in the back. You're gonna need to talk to the manager. for that.
Do you keep your spiced goat in the hole under the street by the bridge in the canal? Is that where you keep your spiced goat?
I'm not sure why you would keep spiced goat in a hole in the ground. Seems like an odd place to put it.
I agree. Maybe we should look around, make sure everything is okay.
Is that really the best use of a spirit warden's time, is to go investigating?
I'll decide what's the best use of my time, thanks. What's her name again?
My friends call me Ogre.
For your size or your intelligence?
For the smell.
Oh, hey there. You look strangely familiar. Where are you going?
The library.
Oh, yeah? What library?
Charter Hall.
Nice. Hey. Can I see your library card?
Oh, never mind. I must have left it inside.
Is that where you keep your spiced goat? Inside?
Sorry, what?
We lost you for the.
Yeah,
first
you
part.
cut out when they.
Oh. I think
Called me
it got I think it got too loud because of my computer fan.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Is Dredge actually even awake again yet? Like, I don't know. I don't even know if I'm there.
You woke up long enough for that and then fell back into the nightmare. Okay. So basically, these guys are not easy to get rid of, and you don't really want to attack them while they're harassing you in I won't say broad daylight, but in the middle of the road, because there is no daylight in Duskfall. But really the only way to get these guys off of your back is to throw them a bone. Otherwise, it's like fight them, go to
Didn't
war.
we have some interesting demonic bones that we could throw them?
Those
Not
got
anymore.
sold.
The magical fire. Remember, it like triggered everything.
Yeah,
It triggered
I know.
the
I'm making
rune
a joke.
curse. Oh, okay.
I'm like, we'd have some bones to throw them if somebody hadn't screwed up our runic bones.
So you can give them a claim.
Ooh.
That seems
A
brutal.
flame?
When you have
Either have to give up the new loyal fence that we just got, or give up our one piece of turf.
That seems bad.
That seems really bad.
or go to war with the Spirit Wardens.
That seems a lot worse.
When you say it that way,
The scene that we just role played, that's happening like every day. It is
I see.
basically putting such a crimp in your style that you almost can't even do anything because they are harassing you so much.
are they like legitimately observing like some law that says they can't just bust in and search our place? Like,
Dredge is not a lawyer.
I know, but I'm like, I've been a resident of this city for a long time, and it, like, if they're suspicious enough of us to sit around outside and do this much harassment, like, what keeps them outside?
That's a good question. I mean, the only thing that would really keep them from just busting in and doing whatever they want is you throwing them a bone. You giving up a claim. Otherwise, yeah,
So
that'll happen.
this is the same, like, we got a demon extorting us, we've got spirit wardings extorting us.
Well, the
like-
Spirit Wardens aren't extorting you. Let's be
they're
clear.
kind of putting the squeeze on us. They're trying to get, you know.
Well, when I say when you throw the Spirit Wardens a bone, I mean they're the special police, so you know they are going to investigate somebody and make an arrest, maybe. They won't. The Spirit Wardens won't make an arrest. They drag stuff to their secret headquarters, and it's never seen again. Possibly melt them down in their vats of acid, or other weird stories.
Do we need to decide how we're dealing with them right now, or could there be a whole score that's based on trying to deal with the spirit wardens?
You would need to decide right now, but you could go on a score to kind of reduce your war status from that.
Well, I was just thinking it might be kind of cool to like frame like that other cult that we were just talking about. That we had that rumor about the distillery.
Right. So that would be a way that you could end a war with the Spirit Wardens. Is to go on a score to like frame somebody else.
Okay.
In terms of dealing with it right now, yeah, it's like what you said is accurate. This guy's questioning you mostly to see if he can get something before he just walks in.
Yeah. So Corey, the player, thinks that we should give up our piece of turf, but Ogre, the character, after a couple days of this, he's gonna punch a spirit because he's in a bad place right now, and if he gets too angry, he's just gonna react by punching him.
By a bad place, do you mean that he's like rage incarnate?
Yeah, pretty much. So Ogre is going to say, screw these guys, we're not giving them a thing. They're going.
So Dredge recently became extremely reckless. And he wants to know what's behind the masks, or whether the masks are in any way special.
Suri, care to chime in?
I mean, we worked really hard for this turf, and we worked really hard for this connection. And we're already at war with everybody else. So
Just so you know, being actually at war with a faction is a specific thing. It's not like we're actually not at war with anybody yet.
Yeah, I know, but
So if we're gonna be at war with somebody, it might as well be the secret police.
God, that sounds so bad when you say it out loud.
I think that we just became the Inglorious Bastards.
I mean, this was the only place Rare Imports could have ever ended up. Was at war
It's
with
either
the
this
Spirit
or we start a cult, Corey.
Crazy Weird directly lands you at war with the Spirit Wardens.
Alright, I think we're going to war with the Spirit.
Oh my god!
And I genuinely think the war starts with Ogre punching one of these Spirit Wardens that keeps harassing us.
I think that the next step in the war is going under the city, getting the giant crab, riding it into the Secret Warden headquarters.
I'm coming in, either through the front door.
Not hearing you.
Things.
I'm coming in, either through the front door or a window. Which will it be?
I will open a door and I'll just say, ask one of your friends about their experience with us and Windows, and then I'm going to punch him in the face.
And scene.
Absolutely unseen. All right. Well, I can't think of a better way to end this session. That was amazing. We'll probably be kicking off next session with the return of Karakamon. What was his name?
Great.
Karakon.
That's good timing, really. If he could show up while the Spirit Wardens are...
Oh, it won't be an accident. Karakon knows when he has the most leverage.
Yeah. So just so everybody knows the specifics of being at war, you can see them on the faction sheet. But we as a group lose one hold, so that stronghold we just got, yeah, we're back to weak. The second thing is that we only get one free downtime action instead of two. The third thing is that we take +1 heat from every score that we do. And the last one won't affect us, but our claims which generate coin, vice dens or fighting pits, those kinds of things, only produce half of their normal income.
Okay.
So that's what we're dealing with until we get the Spirit Wardens back up to a -2.
Alright.
Alrighty. Wow, a dramatic turn of events.
I mean, I
Excellent.
did critically fail the, or no, yeah, no, I almost critically failed the fortune roll. I didn't quite critically fail it.
Yeah, if it had been a crit, that would have been a whole other thing, I think.
Alright, and with that, I think we're going to call it for the evening. Thank you guys for
Alright.
playing.
I'm gonna
That
do
was
XP.
awesome.
Oh yes, let's do XP. Let's do XP. We still have 10 minutes.
So I very much want to do XP before we get in a fight with the Spirit Wardens. That's,
Yeah.
Alright, let's go from right to left. So, Suri,
Yes.
would you like to read off your... And we'll do crew last. So, Suri, would you like to read off your triggers?
Yes. I addressed a challenge with deception or influence.
Well, yeah.
Definitely did that twice. I mean, I
Right.
came up with the whole thing to, well, influence, definitely the whole thing with Bazo. And then deception, the whole thing with pretending to be the like city official or city maintenance crew.
yep.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
Beliefs, drives, heritage, or background. Not really.
Okay.
That I can think of. And struggled with issues from your vice or traumas during the session. Also, unfortunately, not really. So that wasn't a great XP session.
Okay. Well, not bad.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Ogre.
Okay. Address the challenge with violence or coercion. Not a whole lot of coercion this session, but definitely some violence.
Definitely some violence. I guess take one for that.
Okay. Expressed your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background. I don't feel like that really came up a whole lot, except, you know, kind of his anger towards Dredge for his lack of help with the stuff from the previous session. But I don't think that was too significant in that regard.
That was certainly
There was
interesting.
There was a little bit where we were talking about maybe making a copy or just giving him the book, but we didn't go into it too deep.
Yeah, actually, I think both Suri and Ogre should take one because you guys, or all three of you will get one for the whole, catching Dredge up to speed scene. That was a great role-playing free play
cool.
scene that we did, so I think everyone should get one for that.
All right.
All right, and then the last one struggled with issues from vice session. I mean, my trauma is literally what led to me doing the war.
Yep. You are possessed by a spirit of rage. So yes, that definitely trauma was a struggle for you. Okay.
All right, that's it for me.
Headphones cut out there. Did I miss something?
Just
No,
said that's
he
it
just
for
said
me.
he was done.
Okay. All right, Dredge.
So you addressed a challenge with knowledge or arcane power.
Oh,
I
yes.
attempted to address the fires, and I definitely addressed the route through the ghost world.
I mean, you were successful on both of those.
Yeah, so 2.
yeah, you got information on the fires, and you found
That's true.
the Nightmare Road.
Yes.
So yeah.
Expressed beliefs, drives, heritage, or background. I mean, I was asking questions at the end that had to do with my heritage, but I don't know if beliefs or drives. I mean, the drive to take the Nightmare Road was pretty.
Yeah,
Pretty
I
strong.
think that came into play. So you're taking 2 for this because 1 for the roleplay scene.
Okay, awesome.
Unless
cut
you
out, I
already
think.
unless you already counted that one.
So you said you're taking 2 for this, and then you cut out for a while.
I said because of the roleplay scene.
Oh, I already counted that earlier.
Okay.
I'll just take 1 for this now. And then you struggle with issues from your vice or traumas. Likewise, the only reason I voted for the war was because of his trauma that he just got.
Alrighty. A
I'm gonna
reckless
be looking
trauma.
at XP source a lot.
Why does that not surprise me? But now he's traumatically reckless, so I don't know what that means.
Which he wasn't before.
Yeah, I'm
This
wondering.
is the whole other level.
Okay, cool. Let's do crew XP.
Okay. Execute a successful espionage, sabotage, or theft operation. It's not what we did this time. This was smuggling.
Yeah, this was smuggling.
Contend with challenges above your current station. Fighting spirit wardens.
Yep, the Spear Wardens and the you contended. Suri got you guys past the potentially dangerous situation with the crows, who are also above your current station.
So that would be 2 XP then?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Bolster your crew's reputation or develop a new one.
Well, I would say you bolstered it. You're weird and crazy.
I mean, doing smuggling by literally going through the past in order to get to our destination.
Well, when you
Yeah.
say it like that,
Past roads,
Yeah.
never
and-
forgotten.
Express the goals, drives, inner conflict, or essential nature of.
we drove a goat carriage down a nightmare road to deliver drugs.
Not only that, but you guys, the way you kind of tried to deal with the everything being on fire, all occult objects being
We never really even dealt with that.
spiritually on fire, and then being like, let's get like a new business associate.
Well, this is all under control.
This is fine. I would
The
say
fire's only in the spirit realm.
I think you guys got 2 for that. This was the most, like, Rare Imports is really finding itself as a gang,
Yes.
really finding its identity.
If we can't solve this problem, find a new problem.
Yeah, maybe not so much an inner conflict, but definitely essential nature and goals it drives.
Yeah.
Okay, is that everything? I think that's everything.
Yeah, I think that's it.
So, Rare Imports is at war with the Spirit Wardens,
Yep.
a vastly more powerful organization. We shall see how that goes next time on Blades in the Dark, Rare Imports. Thanks you all for watching. Grimslag, Man with No Screen Name, Kenny, Lion Nation, and everybody else. And thanks you guys for hopping in the Twitch chat too. I think that's it. So good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good
night.
Fun.
Yeah, that was a huge amount of fun. All right, we're going off air. Bye-bye.